Guys, how are we? Belfast boxing and blues. Um, new. Look at this. I don't know. A second here. Lack of preparation altogether. So new Van Morrison album due out now in a month's time, 27th of September. New arrangements and duets. Just seems to be a double album. I'm not sure who he's going to have on there, but what we've been fed so far sounds pretty good. I suppose for a lot of us van addicts, we're sort of getting what we wanted, because we know what he's capable of in terms of his musicality and putting those arrangements together. However one goes about that, he's proven himself to be a master of that in the past. Obviously, it must be done according to his taste at the moment. Although by the sounds of things, there are nods back to Ray Charles type of stuff. It's nearly a Mose Allison sort of vibe, that kind of territory. But certainly the Ray Charles stuff as far as layered horn parts and things like that. The touch on the keys, nice jazzy guitar stuff, in terms of voicings and things as well, and switching up voicings rather than one voicing for 4 bars, 8 bars. It's being mixed up nicely. Lovely touch on it. Subtle groove. The horn parts are there. The chopping wood track obviously has some of those nods to the yard, the shipyard, presumably. Hard and Wolf and all that is mentioned. And do you know what? It's so fitting. Like you don't even have to try and make it fit. It actually just works perfectly. And with that vocal ease sort of thing going on too, with the harmonies and stuff and how well that's done. And obviously we know he's big into that, Hendrix, Lambert and Ross and all that stuff as well. So he's done bits and pieces with those guys before. So I think it sounds great. I think it sounds really promising. To be quite honest, when I had been sort of personally sort of thinking about what would it be like if these new arrangements, if he were to say redo old songs or readapt an approach that he might have used, say something like Moondance, it's more of a major thing, and it's, like he talks sometimes, he mentions about the Brown Eyed Girl being a takeoff of a calypso type of thing, kind of built around that concept harmonically, and even rhythmically. It's not that. That's not what it is. But like I say, it seems to be quite satisfying so far, from what we're getting. And that authenticity, which again isn't something that you have to stretch for, in terms of the lyrical sort of truth to the song. It doesn't sound like some white guy, trying to write a blues song and coming off a wee bit daft. It just actually works perfect, and it suits the arrangement and the sound of it. Oh, I thought that was great to see. So I think that's out on the 27th of September next month. So what's that, like 4 weeks or 5 weeks, something like that. I think you can get vinyls and stuff. There's just like a double vinyl. There's like a gold one where you can get the vinyl and the CD. You can get the typical standard black vinyl or whatever have you. You know what I mean? So I thought that was good to see. So while I was nosing about on the website and stuff like that, I come across a wee bit about Solly Lipsitz, and I think was a bit of a mentor to Van, and there was a link to a piece. I think it was done in the Irish News or something like that, from Michael Longley. I'd never checked out before. I'd heard his name mentioned in interviews or whatever in connection with Van. I was quite interested to read it, see that this guy had been a mentor for him, introduced him to music, and I think the word he used was that sort of a deft rather than daft technique of somehow putting him onto stuff. He seemed to always know what tune he needed to hear, and the style he had, the way he was turned out and stuff like that. Sounds like an interesting guy. Um, so I mean, there's not much more to say about that really. I don't know. Oh, it's nice to read about, isn't it? These things. So the thing that jumped out at me was that Michael Longley had done. I think they went to see. You know what it was? I'm not sure if they flew out. No, do you know what it was? Billie Holiday. A lot of those her earlier sort of recordings was Teddy Wilson. I believe was like kind of the arranger, band leader, and the pianist. And this fella Longley, then he was big into stride piano and boogie woogie. Sort of at the behest of Lipsitz, if you like. And so Teddy Wilson comes over, and those guys go to see him, and it's just brilliant, and you get to get up and have a chat with him, and he had a book of poetry, his first book of poetry, and he says there was a sequence titled something like something might be jazz, something like this. So which I think he stole from Yeats. So he got up and he showed it to Teddy Wilson. Teddy Wilson showed it to the band. No, it's like, look. And so he was over the moon, like, as you can imagine. So that jumped out at me. I think I might be worth investigating. I'm definitely gonna have a look, like, Michael Longley, like I say, I haven't read anything by him apart from that article, which I didn't even finish. So, but yeah, speaking of Teddy Wilson, Billie Holiday, the solos, the horn solos in these tunes to me seem to harken back to the swing era as well. You listen to the great clarinet solos and the sax solos and stuff on those. Charlie Parker. I'm trying to get Billie Holiday song, but it's not there. I can't give you anything but love. Lovely swing, the way they play around the beat. They're not so much consumed with trying to, I'm going to play 13ths and 11ths here, and it's got to be these 16th notes. It's more of a less than an exhibition of technique and that artistry, that it got to be with the sort of progression of jazz into the late 40s and the 50s with the bebop stuff. I think with those swing guys, it was more abandon yourself to the beauty of it, fall into the groove, play melodically. So it's nice to see a bit of that being done, and of course there's a modern edge to it. There's a modern sound just with however players in general have sort of developed to where they are now. Guys that are schooled in jazz and stuff. And it's a nice sound too. I quite like that sound. So yeah, looking forward to hearing more from that. What was the other thing now? Yeah, so I just, while all that was going on, stuck on the Orangefield album, the live album that's just been released. Now, I know he had done that a song, a live gig in the school that he used to go to, Orangeville High, which I would pass sometimes on down to see my mate on the Piercebridge Road, and it's just on the bend there, isn't it? You come by the river. You come by it. I call it a river, you know. It's more like a puddle, you know. But you know, it's all right. I'm from the country, so you know. But yes, I had seen some footage of the one that was done 10 years ago. It was very interesting because it was sort of the beginning of us seeing these more intimate uh, types of affairs, you know, which then have sort of continued with the Europa, sort of smaller gigs, you know, and I'm sure he does club gigs elsewhere as well as sort of fulfilling the obligation, I suppose, to play the bigger halls and stuff, you know. And there were some very interesting things that he was doing. Some stuff I picked up on anyway as a musician, you know, that sort of just wee bits and pieces, movements and things like that, that were quite interesting. There, presumably he didn't know he was being videoed, so um, yes. So this is 15 years old maybe. So this was recorded professionally. It sounded really great. I think we come out with Celtic Excavation, which is an instrumental. Must be off one of those early 80s albums. As a No Teacher, No Method, No Guru, or one of those ones. And Poetic Champions Composed, one of those ones, you know, which was quite nice. You know, always good to hear him on the sax and stuff. And then that went into something, and I think then he sort of segued into a song off that. And Cleaning Windows was a nice sprightly number then to follow that. And the whole set was great. The band was good. You could tell that he was at ease where he was, and you know, as I'm sure anybody watching this, you're probably a musician, you know, or at least you're somebody that goes to a lot of gigs, or sort of any line of work you're in, you have to play according to your audience, you know what I mean? So it was a bit more laid back, I felt. Towards the end of it, he did on Hindford Street, which was really nice. And then he went off stage, the old routine, back on again, and he did Ballerina, which was really nice. It's a lovely song, isn't it? It's a nice one off the Astro Weeks. I just noticed, you know, it started with the bass line, and I mean, it was played very nicely, and it was a great version, you know, all around by the band. But it's not heard that bass line, and it sort of made you think back to Astro Weeks, and you're going, hang on a second, that was mental, like. Your fellow Richard Davis, was it, on the stand-up bass? Like, you listen to the stuff he was playing on, that was really fabulous, you know. Obviously a big jazz guy, you know, a bit of a great, really. He didn't really have anywhere to go in terms of playing, you know, chromatic bits and pieces, and you know, doing bebop. He sort of had to stick to his triads and stuff. But it was the way that he was moving and pulling the strings, the vibrato, the touch, playing in and out with the band, leading the thing, letting it be led. It's a real treat, you know. Something, it was just nice. It was just nice. Next one then was to finish off. What did he play? Oh God, In the Garden. So that was it. That was a fine one. It was very good. I recommend that album. By the two tracks that you can go and hear on YouTube, Spotify. There's one of them. Get a taste for that stuff. I think it's a bit of a bonus, you know. as good as the last couple of original albums have been, or covers, or you know, moving on Skiffle and those other ones. Um, the fact that this is going into this arrangement thing, which is a whole other, you know, forget him just as a band leader, as a stylist, as you know, as phrasing, um, to delve back into that other part of his skill set and deliver. You know, he could have half-assed it. If these two tracks are anything to go by, we're in for a real treat, in my opinion. But guys, big up to all the fans, all the good Belfast people, and any boxing fans that happen to watch this one. Why not? It's all good, isn't it? Take it easy.